サーロー節子さん90歳。広島に原爆が投下されたあの日、サーローさんは爆心地から 1.8 キロの場所で被爆しました。
Hello.
いいでしょうかね。こんにちは。
こんにちは。Hello.
もう二度と同じ過ちを繰り返さないために、アメリカの若者らにあの日の記憶を語りました。
Wow, it's been 77 years. It's August 6th. Well, I was a 13 years old grade 8 student in junior high. And in 1945, Japan was losing badly in war. So we were all mobilized to do the work for the government and the army. The boys were sent to the war, and we young girls were sent to the factory, farm, and I happened to be at the military headquarters. I learned we were educated to deal with the decoding top secret messages. Can you imagine 13-year-old girls doing such important top secret thing? Anyway, so I was not at the school. I was at the army headquarters as a mobilized student. And it happened at 8:15 in the morning. The day was just starting. We're just starting the day's activities. At 8:15, I was on the second floor in the large room with about 30 other girls from the same school. And suddenly I saw the bluish white flash in the window. And I had a sensation of flying up in the air, and that's floating in the air. And that's the end of my recollection. When I regained the consciousness in the total darkness and silence, I found myself pinned under the collapsed building. And I knew I was dying. Then I started hearing other girls' voices, very faint voices. Mother, help me. God, help me. So I knew I was not alone. Then all of a sudden, somebody touched my left shoulder from behind me and said, "Don't give up. I'm trying to free you." And I keep pushing, keep moving. And you see the sun ray coming through that opening, crawl toward it as quickly as possible. And that's what I did. I managed to come out. But 30 other girls who were with me in the same room never had a chance to come out. That means they were still alive. Yes, they were crushed under the collapsed building, but they're still alive. But they're all burned to death alive. And this happened all over the city. The city with 360,000 population. Most of them civilians, non-combatant. They were indiscriminately either killed or maimed and so on. Anyway, I crawled out of the building, and although that happened in the morning, it was dark outside because of all the smoke and dust and the particles up in the air. It was going up, raised in the mushroom cloud. But in the dark, my eyes got adjusted and I started seeing moving objects. And that was a procession of injured people. But they didn't look like human beings. They looked like ghosts to me, yes, because the hair was all standing up, and the skin and the flesh were hanging from the bones, and parts of the body missing. Some are holding their own eyeballs in their hands. Yeah. Anyway, I joined that procession and escaped to the nearby hills. And at the foot of the hill, there was a large training ground, the military training ground. About the size of 2 football fields. It's quite a large place. By the time we got there, the place was packed with the dead bodies and dying people. Nobody has the strength to stand up and run or shout for help. They just barely whispered, "Water, water, please." Thousands of people there. Well, we wanted to rescue them. They're asking for water, but we didn't have the cup or bucket. So we went to the nearby stream and washed off all the body, and we tore off our blouses and soaked them in the water and dashed back to the dying people, put it over the mouth. They just sucked in the moisture. That was a level of so-called rescue operation. I quickly looked around, not one single doctor or the nurse, because they themselves are killed. About 80% of healthcare professionals were all killed. There's some surviving professionals. They were helping people other places, not where I was. So those thousands of people, not a drop of, no medication of any kind, no attention from the doctors and nurses. Under the hot sun, they simply had their last breath. Nobody knew at that time anything about atomic bomb or radiation or anything. If people had high fever, doctor thought that was because of the scarlet fever or something. Nobody understood scientifically. So, radiation has a very mysterious way to work. It kills somebody instantly, and some a week later, a month later, year later, even 10 years later, people are dying. The horrible story about this is, even today, 77 years later, the horrible thing just happened then and ended. No, that's not the story. It's been continuing 77 years. It's still affecting human lives today. These are the characteristics of a nuclear weapon. At that time, those bombs was baby bombs, really, crude. Over the years, nuclear weapon states has been just making the whole thing more sophisticated, more vicious, more destructive weapons, and more of them. Hiroshima was destroyed by one bomb, Nagasaki was destroyed by another, so 2 bombs were used. But today we have 13,000 of highly developed, sophisticated nuclear weapons. You just can't compare what happened in Hiroshima and what could happen today if we are stupid enough to allow that happen. So it's a horrible story. The horrible thing is the majority of the world, the people, are living without knowing what kind of world we are living in. This is a nuclear age. Things happen.
And people like me can understand as well as my peers here.
Mm-hmm. Now I hope you share this story, and
of course.
Yeah, okay. That's the purpose why I keep talking. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If we love our planet, if we love our humanity, this is simply it. That is elimination of the nuclear weapon. And that's my determination. And I try to live up to that all my life.